What's going on, Geekdom? This is Shamunk. We are doing a review over the movie Queen of the Ring. I had just watched this weekend, so I was wanting to talk about it. Yeah. So this is going to be with heavy spoilers, I would guess, because I feel like to really talk about the film and to really get into how I feel about it, there's going to be some spoilers in this. So I'm gonna talk about the film, what it's about, different things that happened in the film, and then I'm gonna talk about the things I liked about it and the things I didn't like about it, and then my placement of it on a lot of the wrestling movies and stuff that had came out. So let's get into it. The Queen of the Ring is a story that's based off of. Well, this is a story based on Mildred Birch's life and what she went through becoming the biggest and highest paid female wrestler back starting from the 1930s to the 1950s. That's basically, I guess, where it placed during. Um, which I think is funny because I was like the beginning portion of it. I was like they didn't place what the year was on the film, which I was like, okay. Um, the movie follows her through the time of when women's wrestling was banned, um, and then also when a lot of wrestling was, especially in the South, was basically a carny show, and I like that they did that too. But it's basically they'll go through like small towns and stuff like that as a carny act, and yeah, put on performances and stuff, wrestle men and women that want to step into the ring and try to wrestle one of the wrestlers and stuff in the show. She was dating her manager during the time, which was Billy Wolf, and it also showed and talked about their relationship, him cheating, and how he would assault her, and then he apologized. She'll go back. They made a contract to where if she goes back to wrestling and stuff to make herself a bigger name and to do these shows and stuff, since she was making a lot of money during the time, because a lot of people wanted to see her wrestle, which Mildred wrestled men as well as women during the time. That was still taboo in the carny scene, but she would wrestle men. Um, but she was making a lot of money, so their focus was mostly on her. Once Billy Wolf stopped wrestling and just became the promoter, he promoted a lot more female wrestlers and stuff, and he still continued to cheat. And yeah, they weren't together anymore, but they were separated, and they were still trying to grow this promotion. She made a lot of money. Then they got divorced. She lost everything to him except for the title, and yeah, that's how it ended. Was her defending her title at the end of the movie in a big, huge match where they had their own separate promotions, and it was promotion versus promotion type of deal for the title and see which promotion would get the main title. Because after the divorce and stuff, she was able to keep the title, but she lost all her money and funding, which most of the women that were under both of them and were trained under both of them had went to Billy Wolf's side, and yeah. Uh, but that's the whole gist of the movie. The gist of the movie. Now this movie is only in theaters for a little bit. Um, Sadly enough, it's only like 4 days or 3 days left in theaters. Right now, for Rotten Tomatoes, it is for critics it's sitting at a 73%. For audiences, it's at a 92%. I will probably place it around like probably a high 80 for myself, 80 some percent. I really did enjoy the film a lot. I did like a lot of things that they were going with it. But I want to. This is as my opinion of it without knowing a lot about Mildred. Um, I have more like for like Iron Claw. I have more knowledge of the Von Erichs than I did the of Mildred and everything. So as a comparison of movies and stuff, I did like Queen of the Ring more than I did Iron Claw. And as far as just wrestling movies that had came out recently, not including like Deathmatch and stuff, because that one was more on the dramatic side. Because Iron Claw was a decent film, but since I knew a lot about the Von Erichs, watching a lot of it, I can definitely tell where they um, went astray from the actual events of the movie and where they of their lives, of the Von Erichs' lives, and where um, they kind of hit directly on a lot of the stuff that did happen. So I was kind of like taken out by some of the mistakes and stuff. Well, not mistakes, but some of the fabricated portions of their story and their lives. But with Mildred, I'm not that familiar with her entire life. But I knew of Mildred Birch, or Mildred Bliss, from what she started off as. Yeah, I knew of her in her career and how she helped the women's wrestling and stuff, but I didn't know a lot about her life. So, as someone who didn't know about her life, this was entertaining as far as a movie and stuff goes. Um, I did like a lot of how, of the looks, production. Um, it felt like it was during the time of the 40s, 50s, 30s. During those times, it did kind of feel like that throughout the movie. I liked a lot of the wrestlers and stuff that were in it, because you had a mixed blend of some actual real wrestlers, and you had some really some though really known actors. So like one who is in the wrestling scene that was in the movie was Jim Cornette. Uh, you hate him or you love him, but Jim Cornette was a big part of the film. And then you have Camille from AEW, who played June Byers. Um, you had Tony Storm in the film from AEW. She used to be in WWE as well. You had Naomi in it. But she only had like a small role in it from WWE. So those are like known people from the wrestling scene. He had some really good major actors and stuff like Walton Goggins, Emily, who played Mildred. She was in the CW stuff. She was in Arrow. I've known her for for a lot of her DC stuff. She was appeared in like Supergirl and Flash before. Um, but yeah, she's mostly known for her DC stuff. Probably, I don't know. Y'all probably know her for other things outside of the CW stuff, but as a geek, that's the only thing I can think of for her. You also had I forgot his name, the guy that was in the Cobra Kai series. He also was in Karate Kid. He was the coach or the teacher in for Cobra Kai during the Karate Kid films. He was in this. He did an excellent job. Francesca, she played Mae Young. She was also in this. But yeah, so you have a good cast of people. I thought they all did excellent. They looked the part. I thought they did an excellent job. Camille, I think, did a very, very excellent job in the film. Yeah, I wasn't expecting her to have like a huge role in the film. When they first announced it, she would be in it. I didn't think she was gonna have a big role because I didn't really look at the cast and who they were playing. So that was very much a surprise to me. But this, yeah, it was the cast did great. The production of it was good. The didn't know the director too well. Neither Ash Avildsen, didn't know him at all. So this was, I think, a good film for him to really do and throw out there. I don't know if he's a big fan of wrestling. Yeah, from what I see of his work, um, he didn't do a lot of like wrestling stuff, but I'm glad he did work on this. But yeah, I don't know if he's a big fan of wrestling. Probably most likely is, since he went ahead and directed this. But he directed and co-wrote it. So yeah, this was a really good, entertaining film as far as the dramatic stuff. I think it could have went harder on some of the topics and issues. I feel like they did. So as far as just stuff I didn't, you know, as far as what knocked it down a bit for me was the fact that they could have went harder on the abuse to really get you emotionally involved more for Mildred and what she was going through. I wish they would have went into more details of the actual banning of women's wrestling and how they broke that barrier down. Because I was like, they didn't really talk about how the bans and stuff were being lifted for women. So I wish they would have kind of went more into details on that, of how stuff was being brought down. Another thing I wish they would have did was introduce Mildred at the beginning of the film and what she was struggling to do and stuff like that, as far as just a server or waitress, at a diner. I think it was like a diner that they worked in. She worked in, her mother owned and stuff. I wish they would have went into more details of her struggle trying to just do that, and then she falling in love with wrestling when she first seen them after her struggles and as a server and stuff like that. It went directly into the wrestling, and then they showed her struggle into as a server. And I was like, I wish they would have switched it, like flipped it. I think that would have worked better, but that's just on my opinion. Instead of diving deep into the wrestling portion really, really fast at the beginning of the movie, I just wish they would have just kind of just flipped it and just we seen Mildred and got introduced to Mildred and seeing her struggle as a single mother, trying to work and stuff. And then we got into the wrestling portion, her love and how she fell in love in wrestling and then started training and stuff. I wish we'd have got into it that way. But yeah, it wasn't a bad film, but it's a couple of things. Like, it wasn't like the greatest film ever. I feel like it is my second favorite, probably, of like a wrestling movie. It maybe. I was trying to like really hard to think because I was like, I really did like The Wrestler. That one has always been the top, just because I was like, even though that one is a fabricated story, I like the dramatic portions of that film, and I think they kind of hit a little bit harder when it came to the emotions for me than this one did. I like the ending though of Queen of the Ring. I liked how it ended with her in the ring and celebrating her big victory for her and her company and stuff like that. So I liked that ending as well, but I feel like the Wrestler was more dramatic to that ending. So I don't know. But I feel like it was technical. But I did like Queen of the Ring more than I did Iron Claw, just because, again, I knew more of the Von Erichs than I did of Mildred. The one thing I would say that I also did understand that because they mentioned a lot of people in wrestling in the film that had significant parts in it, like Vince McMahon Jr. They mentioned him when they didn't have to, when they showed Vince McMahon Sr. And I was like, okay, but they didn't mention Fabulous Moolah. I can understand the controversy of Fabulous Moolah, but she did contribute to the wrestling scene. So I don't understand why they didn't mention her, because she was trained under Mildred during that time of the movie. and she was under Billy Wolf's promotion during that time. So it's like, I know it was focused on Mildred and everything, but I thought they could have did a mention at least. I don't know if one of the characters was her when they were doing the training. I didn't know if that was Mickey James in it. Because I was trying to guess, I was like, is that Mickey James? Is that Mickey James playing in Fabulous Movie? I was like, I was trying to throw in this, like, who could have been who in it. But Moolah was a big portion of women's wrestling as well. And I was like, I don't know why they didn't mention her, even though, yes, she did some horrible stuff. Yes, as a person, she probably was a very, very horrible person. I don't know her personally, just the info and the stories that came about her being a racist and everything else, how she treated women, you know, understandably so. But again, she did contribute to wrestling, just like Billy Wolf. He did contribute to women's wrestling heavily. But it is like, you should still mention, he still should show. I thought Josh did a good job playing Billy though. He was a very hated character, and I did, dislike him a lot watching the stuff go down and how he would try to gaslight Mildred, and yeah, he played that role, and he definitely, you know, made me dislike him. But I would have thought that they would have, at least mentioned Fabulous Moolah. But it is what it is. But again, good film, very enjoyable. I say for people to watch it. It's something I would watch again because it was still entertaining, and it's not that many films that I've watched lately that I said, oh, I would definitely watch it again. This is one I would watch again. It was very enjoyable. So I do advise people to go see it. Again, it's only in theaters for a little bit. I don't know how they're going to display it out versus like maybe streaming services and stuff like that. You can probably catch it on Prime. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments below. If you like my video, please put a like on the video. If you'd like to subscribe to see some more of my reviews and reactions and other stuff that I do for the channel, please do subscribe. I thank you all so much for just jumping on and giving me a try. I really do appreciate it. Please do take care of yourselves and others. Peace, geekdom.